was quite good.
I think, yeah, it seems quite a dense show, yeah.
Like a fruitcake.
In a nice, like a fruitcake of a show, yeah. Hello, welcome to Podemup, where we're discussing House of the Dead Overkill on the Nintendo Wii. Also on the menu, Sonic Origins, Sonic Frontiers, Shredder's Revenge, loads more actually, all in episode 44 of Podemup. Hello, welcome to episode 44 of the Podemup podcast. My name is Ollie. I'm joined by my friend Tibbs. Hello, Tibbs.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm alright. Bit tired.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I've been waking up at 6 a.m. every morning lately. Not by choice, by Alice, basically. So yeah, a little bit tired, but yeah, soldiering on. So what we're doing this month, we've got, what's it called, House of the Dead Overkill in the book club this month to talk about. Might be a bit of effing and jeffing in that. Well, not much from us, but if we do, possibly in quote form. There's an awful lot of cursing in the game. Yeah. So adults only for that one, I think, and certainly some adult content. But before that, should we talk about Sonic Origins to begin with? Yeah, so this is the compilation, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. All the nice jazzy Christian Whitehead versions, sort of widescreen and everything. So how you been getting on with it?
It's alright. It doesn't feel finished.
No, it doesn't. That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, it is mostly there. It's all sort of playable. You can have plenty of fun with it, but there are just these little niggles here and there that, particularly in the Sonic 3 and Knuckles portion, I'm finding.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I get that my theory, and it is purely speculation, I don't think it was ready. I think it's probably early beta, late beta stage, and they pushed that out the door to get it out in time for the anniversary of Sonic.
Yes, because obviously it's a big marketing thing. Although it's not really, is it? Because it's the 31st. If it was a year ago, the 30th anniversary, I'd understand. But it's just the 31st. It doesn't matter. It's just a day. But for the sake of getting it right.
It's the only way I can imagine some of the mistakes in the game slipping through.
Yeah. It's I've been working through it a bit more slowly because I've mostly been playing it with my daughter, and we've been having fun with it. So we've been working through story mode mainly because I at first I thought that's the only way you can see the little animated cutscenes they've added, but I think you can get them in the regular.
Yeah, you can just in the regular.
Doing it through the anniversary mode and everything as well. So we've only just got to Sonic 3 and Knuckles today, so I've only just heard the new pieces of music that they've had to put in.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on those?
They're basically just the tracks that we were expecting.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, they don't have much in the way of bells and whistles.
No,
and stuff. I think they've been softened up a bit, maybe, but
I tend to prefer the versions. I think they could have just cut and paste the versions from the beta build that leaked a few months ago.
Yeah.
From the original Mega Drive, they sounded better to me than these sound.
Yeah, I couldn't remember how they sounded, but just before the show, I went and listened to them, and I think generally they do sound a bit more sort of authentic in a way. Or there's nothing particularly wrong with the new ones. It's just I don't know. There's just something not quite.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's an issue with sound in Sonic 3 and Knuckles anyway.
Yeah.
It would, because I stayed up to midnight when the game came out because I got myself really hyped up for it.
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
thought, right, midnight is going to play, it's going to launch, like I can step and play. And the
Yeah.
first thing I did was jump into Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because obviously that's, we've played the Christian Whitehead, Sonic 1, 2, and CD.
Yeah.
So Sonic 3 being the Christian Whitehead version, the retro engine version, that was like the main attraction for me.
Mm.
So I jumped into that straight away, and the minute it started playing, I was like, "What is up with the sound? It's really muffled. It sounds
Muffled.
really, really compressed and horrid, and
Yeah.
just really muddy. It just what's going on?" And I think that doesn't help these new tracks at all. I think it all just sounds a bit muddy.
Yeah. There's not much clarity to it, is there?
No,
No.
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 I did. I've completed the game now. I said on Twitter it's actually the first game that I've got a platinum trophy
Oh right.
on PlayStation. So
Mm.
I got all the achievements. I've done all the S ranks on the challenges.
Oh right. Okay.
I've done all the games. The only thing I haven't done is story mode. I played through the games
Separately. Yeah.
separately,
Yeah.
and I didn't do the story
I
mode.
think. Do you get a special ending animation if you do the story mode? Possibly. I think I saw that in the museum, but I might be wrong.
I think I remember reading somewhere that if you play all the games, this is apparently came from someone who data mined it.
Mm.
If you do all the games with all the characters and the story mode, there's some kind of bonus video about Sonic Frontiers that you unlock.
Oh right. Mm. Okay.
But I don't know. I can't attest to that myself because I haven't done the story mode. But yeah, I
Yeah.
remember reading that somewhere that some data miner found that out.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only done a few of the challenges as well because I mainly play it with Alice, and we've only got sort of limited time to do
Yeah.
that. So I haven't played it much. I haven't really had much time to do it in the evenings either. So I'm still very much working my way through it. I've done a few of the challenges. How would you say those went generally?
Um, I'm a bit hesitant to say this because I
Mm.
don't want to make it sound like yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at this. But like I say, I got all S ranks on them.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it was that challenging.
Oh, even like the super challenging ones that you get with the DLC.
Those ones are quite. Some of those have their moments.
Yeah.
But the certainly the basic ones, the ones that come, just whichever version you buy.
Yeah.
I didn't find them all that. There was only a couple of them where I was really starting to, pull my hair out.
Mm.
The majority of them, I got through them quite quickly, and I never, with these sort of things in games, I never get S ranks on. Very rarely will I get
Yeah.
S ranks on
Me
things.
too.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm not sort of, despite the fact we do a show about games, I'm not all that good at games in terms of, pure skill. I play it just because they're fun, rather than trying to be the best at things.
Yeah. Same here.
But I don't know. It could just be because we've been playing these games since they launched. Since 1991. I can't count how many times I've played through all the Sonic games. So it could just be.
I think that certainly helps. You
Yeah.
know the physics inside and out, so you know how to not get hit by something
Yeah.
in a certain way. You just kind of know it. Even and that's what I was interested in because obviously they're based within the levels. So they use the existing. If it's a 3D game, you call it geometry, but like the way the levels are structured, but they add extra objects and things, don't they? And sometimes they can make paths out of them. So I was interested to just try some new challenges of those old games. I thought it was quite it's quite a novel idea.
Yeah, I
No.
really like the idea of it, and I really like. I have to say. The way Sonic Origins is structured is, for people who haven't played it, you don't have lives anymore. You've got infinite lives. There's no continues, anything like that. And instead of lives, you collect coins, which you can then use to either unlock things in the museum, or you can use it to replay. You can use one coin to replay a special stage if you fail it.
Such a good feature. I've really
So
enjoyed.
good. It's so good.
That's one of the best features in the whole thing. Actually,
It really is. Yeah.
Especially, we were working through those Sonic 2 special stages, and it was and they're so hard, aren't they?
I know.
And it was just great we'll give that another go because it's fresh in your mind there and then, isn't it? If you've got to wait until you get to the next checkpoint, you've kind of lost your momentum in it, and you kind of make the same mistakes again. But if you can do it immediately, it makes quite a difference, actually.
Yeah, and especially on Sonic 1, the special stages aren't quite as unforgiving as Sonic 2. But you can have some really sort of cruel twists of fate, and you just hit one of the gold things.
It's easily done, yeah.
And there's not really much leeway for. You don't really get many chances to fail on the Sonic 1.
No, you've only
What?
got. I think you don't. You can't even get them in Scrap Brain, can you? So
No.
you literally just get 10 chances. So
You
if
get
you
10
fail,
chances.
if you fail more than 4 times, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Basically.
So
Yeah.
it's just a really, it's one of these. It's like the drop dash in Sonic Mania. It's just a little tweak, but it makes
Mm.
such a difference to how the game plays. It's a really welcome addition. So I was
Yeah.
really pleased with that.
Mm. I just hope they can sort out a patch that fixes some of the issues. I know I saw on Twitter that Simon Tomley, I think his name is, who runs sort of Headcanon, and he and his team adapted Sonic 3 and Knuckles using the Retro engine for Sega. And I know he said that he was really honest and said, okay, we had to rush it out. We were restricted by time, and we asked Sega for more time, but there's a certain period of time where it needs to get sent to people, and they couldn't do it. And he said the team knew about some of the glitches, but also some were added in the process of giving it to Sega. Like they noodled around with it and created certain issues.
Well, apparently, if I understood this right, because I watched the Digital Foundry did a video about the performance issues and things like that. And they ran in their video, they had a couple of the bugs that I ran into as well that I found, quite frustrating. But if I understood what they were saying correctly, the whole game runs on Hedgehog engine, which was the engine used for
like the Sonic Unleashed and
Sonic
the 3D
Unleashed,
games.
and then the Retro engine runs on top of Hedgehog engine.
Yeah.
So you've got like two engines running at the same time, and I wonder if that's going to contribute to some of the bugs that are cropping up. But even then, there's some of the mistakes, like there's spelling mistakes in the menus. Some of the zones are spelled incorrectly.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh, no.
yeah. Sandopolis zone is Sandpolis zone.
Oh no.
And the music tracks in when you do the music player.
Yes, I did notice this one. Some of them are got the wrong descriptions on the names, haven't they?
They got the wrong names, the wrong descriptions.
Yeah, it does really.
It's just really slapdash.
Whiff of being rushed out at the last minute, just chucked together, which is a real shame.
Yeah, it is.
The Tails jumping bug is the worst, I think.
Oh my!
I haven't noticed it in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Interestingly, that's one that doesn't seem to happen. But
no, I think it seems to be unique to Sonic 2.
Yeah, and it happens. I found a workaround in as much as if you've got a second controller, if you start hearing him jump, basically with Tails, when he goes off screen, pretty much every time, all you hear is jump, 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 and he never comes back. If you've got a second controller, you can just tap the jump to start him flying, and then he'll appear. AI controlled, and that's how I've been getting around it. But it
drove
annoying.
me mad. Honestly, by the time I got to Metropolis Zone, I was close to muting it just because it's just this.
Yeah, and you got to think that's got to be a relatively easy fix, isn't it? I mean,
I'd have thought so.
If Tails goes off screen, bring him back.
Bring him back.
Pretty much. It's not difficult programming. I wouldn't have thought, and obviously they've done it. It's just there's a slip up somewhere last minute.
It's just little things that let it down. I mean, on the whole, I'd say it's good. I'd still recommend it.
I'm impressed the effort they put into all the museum content. The animations they've added are really good.
The animations are superb.
And it's great to sort of see those little bits that you've only read about in the Japanese manuals being referenced, kind of as little animations in there. Sort of the prologues and the epilogues and things. Really cool.
I wasn't as impressed with the museum, I have to say. I mean, I'm comparing it to what they did with Sonic Mega Collection. I think that was a much better. You could unlock the previous games from the Game Gear games.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice just to chuck the Game Gear games in. I think that all the print material was quite good. I haven't, to be fair, I haven't unlocked a lot of them, but I've been looking through them. A lot of like sketches and things like that. Some never before seen stuff, I think. And they've got all the Sonic Mania adventures clips in there as well, haven't they? The videos. That was quite a nice thing to put in.
Yeah, that's quite nice. But I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth for that. But I mean, those would be particularly nice if it were a physical release.
Yes. Yeah.
If it's digital, you must have the internet to download it, and if you've got the internet, you can just watch them on YouTube. So.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's the same for all the music they've put in as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they'd have had I know. I know why they couldn't do it. Probably licensing and stuff. But there was a I think it was a Japan-only two-disc soundtrack for Sonic that was released a few years ago, and it had the second disc was the original demo tracks that the
Oh
Dreams Come
yeah,
True guy
yeah, I've
did.
got that. That's
Have
really good.
you?
That yeah, I've got it.
I've got a rip of it somewhere.
Mm.
Um, Stuff like that would have
That would
been
have been
really interesting.
yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, you could go all night with things that they could have added, couldn't
Yeah,
you? But yes, certainly, yeah. I did like that quite surprisingly comprehensive playlist feature where you could like create like 5 different playlists of Sonic music just to play in the
yeah,
background while you're going through the museum. That's quite a
yeah. That's
nice
quite
touch.
nice.
Yeah,
It's not about. I don't want to sound like I didn't enjoy it because I did. I mean,
yeah,
they're still the same. It's the same good games that they always were,
yeah.
and there's certainly been worse editions of them put out. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
but oh, one. Yeah, I say that. I follow up saying I don't want to be critical with another criticism. But they've got the classic mode, and they're not classic mode at all.
No, it's not a ROM, is it? It's
It's
just
not wrong.
it's literally the same thing, but with letterboxed and the lives are back,
Yeah,
reinstated.
yeah, which means it's got all the same bugs that the other one did.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame that could have been like a an alternative, or just play the original, and it would have
Yeah.
been nice, and it would have been dead easy for them to do, really.
I
Wouldn't it,
know.
to
I
be
mean,
honest?
they've been selling the ROMs on Steam for years now, so I don't know why
Well,
they
until
couldn't have
recently when
just
they
done that.
took them down, didn't they?
Well,
Which
yeah.
is another matter.
But yeah, I mean, I would give it a tentative recommendation if anyone wants it. It's it's
Certainly keep an eye out for patches, and if they come in, then it will definitely raise our recommendation. I think. I hope they do. I hope Sega don't just leave it there. I hope they get back in touch with the headcanon and try and get them to resolve some of these issues and work together.
yeah, for sure. Like I said on Twitter, if Sega patch the issues, because there aren't any sort of really game-breaking issues. It's just
It's
tiny little
minor.
things.
It's also things that I found it a lot with the Sonic 3 and Knuckles. If you know the game really well, you know exactly what's going to happen when it's going to happen. Something small that happens differently just sort of throws you off. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, got hit by something that I don't normally get hit by. Or like earlier, I was playing Carnival Night Zone and I spin dashed. Oh no, it propelled me through a corridor, and you've got those crushing spinny things.
Yeah.
And I just got crushed by it with no warning, and it was like it's almost like perhaps because it's widescreen now, things appear earlier than they should,
No,
and they're activated earlier, and they sort of come down earlier.
there's definitely something else going on with it because there's one of the giant rings in Hydropolis Zone. Not Hydropolis, Hydro City.
Yeah.
Sandopolis and See, I'm getting them wrong
Don't
now.
add another one. There's already raging debate about whether it's Hydrocity or Hydro City. Don't add another third option.
Hydropolis. Hydro City Zone. I always call it Hydro City.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, there's one of the giant rings. You go down the ramp, spinny round, and it shoots you up in the air, and it's got these two spinning cylinders that go up and down. You land on one of them, and then you jump up into, and there's like a hidden passage. I couldn't get into that passage. No matter how I tried it over and over and over. There's just something about the physics that wouldn't let me jump high enough to get into that secret ring. And I can on the original game I could do it like that, no problem.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's just tiny. That's what makes me think it's like a beta. It's like it's almost ready to go. They just need to give it one more pass and just fix this, tidy up some of this, and it's ready.
Yeah.
If they do that and they put it out in a nice box, it would be 100% recommendation for me. If it came out physical with all the stuff patched, I would not hesitate to recommend it.
Yeah.
What did you think of Did you get the digital deluxe edition?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Do you think it was worth it?
I don't know. It's only a £5 extra, wasn't it? And there's a few like bits peppered in throughout it. You can zoom in on the islands. You get more music. You can. Just lots of little things like that. I suppose it was. I haven't tried the extra missions you get though, so I can't say for sure yet. But I mean,
I don't know if it was really worth splitting it up. Do you?
Well, no, not really. I don't know why they bothered, to be honest. But it's just someone's big idea in marketing. I think.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the time I spent with it. I don't regret buying it.
No.
And we probably noticed the bugs and things more because we've played the games for so long.
Oh yeah, if you're not that knowledgeable about every single bit of how those games work, you may not even notice many of them. It's just little, as I said, it's little niggly things where you just get hit by something where you wouldn't normally get hit by it, and things like that. No, It's good. It just needs some more, little bit more love.
Yeah.
The only other thing I've been playing, and I think you've been playing it too, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, good little game, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice. I haven't finished it yet. Again, I haven't had loads of time on it, but it's just a great little beat 'em up, isn't it? Like
It's so
Streets of
good.
Rage
Yeah.
style. Yeah, it's loads of love and care put into like the animations and things. It's great and very much of its. Well, not of its current time, but of its time that it's, that those sort of late 80s, early 90s, kind of the music and everything, and all that, like the general attitude of it is sort of perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels just like a natural sequel to the TMNT arcade game, or Turtles in Time, something like that.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's never been away, basically. It's
No,
just...
I haven't played a lot of those. I've always been meaning to, and I saw this and I thought, oh, this looks really good. So it plays. I assume it plays fairly faithfully to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Those games. Yeah. The only thing I'd say is they're limited to what was in the show, I suppose. And I don't I used to love the show. It was my first like big thing that I was into.
I love Turtles. Yeah,
when I was
to this
like
day
4 or 5. Yeah. But I don't remember a lot of it. So I don't remember like. I know they fought foot soldiers a lot, but I don't know if they fought many other things. In this, you mainly fight various foot soldiers and robots, and that's kind of it. And I did find that gets a little bit repetitive at times.
Yeah, I mean the foot soldiers and the mousers, the little robots, the pizza monsters, they make an appearance in there. There's all sorts in there. Rat King's in it. Baxter Stockman.
Yeah, I like the bosses, the variety of bosses, but I just thought,
The rank and file baddies are all a bit.
Yeah, although you get the different colours and each different colour does different things. Like one will have like a mace and stuff and arrows, and they were all cool. But it's the fact that they all look. When we were talking about Streets of Rage, we said it should really be repetitive, but it never feels repetitive.
Yeah.
And I think comparing it to this, I think that's because you get a little bit more variety of looks of the enemies and how they behave. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're all street thugs, but then you'll get ones that are like karate people or wrestlers or just big fat guys that blow fire and things like that. And they all behave pretty differently. And this, it's a minor criticism because I did really enjoy the game, but I was just, if I had to compare it to Streets of Rage, I would say that's the only sort of area that it significantly differs. It just felt a little bit more repetitive, I felt. Just purely in the enemies and that. But it's a great game.
Oh, it is. It is a great game. I'd really like. I got to be honest. I haven't completed the game either. I think I'm up to the level after the Technodrome.
Oh, I haven't got that far yet.
So but I think I'm towards the end of it, but I'm not fully at the end. So there may be a mode to unlock this, but I don't know if you read the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, like the original Eastman and Laird ones.
No,
where it's all black and white and.
Yeah, I know of them, but I'm not. I haven't delved that much into Turtle stuff beyond that original show when I was a kid. I like. Good. Yeah, I know. I should. I like it, the idea of it in general, but I haven't really looked at all the different TV shows and comics and things.
I would love a game like this, but with that original, like the original Turtles. The kind of darker, really sort of black and white, hand sketchy style. I can envision it in my head, and it looks amazing in my head. And if anyone ever does anything like that, I'd be great. But it's fantastic. I love it, and I don't know if it can't be the original voice actors, but they sound very close.
They sound very similar, don't they? I mean, it feels like deliberately distorted to fit in with the general feel of it, which I think is a good idea. But maybe that helps mask the fact that it isn't. But they do sound very sort of authentic, like the little voice clips and things.
I'm impressed by it. I think it's like you say, there's so much love and care gone into it.
Yeah. Even like the intro was just like a version of the original theme song and like its own intro video is really cool. And it's just like, it just takes me back, to that simple time where I remember like swapping turtle stickers on the playground, and it's great.
It's great. It's great, and I think it goes to show. I mean, we've said it a million times on this show, but how good pixel art can be.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Really,
in
really
20
good.
years' time, it's going to look as good as it does today. It's
absolutely.
just so the animation and the detail and everything. It's so good.
Every frame of it is gorgeous. Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Have you been playing anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I've actually played a lot this month.
Have you? Okay, go on then.
I've played. Are you familiar with Infamous on PlayStation 3? You sort of superhero guy?
No.
So you're basically a little courier, and he's asked to deliver a package somewhere. He's on his way to deliver it. It blows up, kills a bunch of people, ruins everyone's day, but it gives him superpowers. And he can like shoot electricity out of his hands and absorb electricity, and you've got to find out why it's happened and solve the mystery as you go around the town doing all your electric powers thing. But it's got like a morality system, so you can choose to be heroic or you can choose to be infamous, and so there'll be people who, you'll find someone injured in the street and you can use your powers to heal them, or you can absorb their life energy and make yourself stronger. And depending on what actions you take, you'll become adored by people. They eventually think, oh yeah, he's a hero, and they take photos of you as you're running about and things. Or they'll come to fear you and hate you. And as the game goes on, the decisions you make will have an effect on what course the game takes, and particularly as you evolve the skill tree in the game, certain branches, so you can unlock new powers as you go along, but certain branches of the skill tree will be locked off if you choose good or evil actions, and some of the evil actions have much cooler powers, but you'd have to be evil to unlock those.
It's a classic dilemma, isn't it?
It is. It's a tale as old as time. But I don't like being mean to people.
I find that with games as well. Whenever you've got any sort of morality system, I always tend to verge on the side of the good. Just I don't know. Yeah, it just seems wrong, especially these days when the people are so realistic in their sort of pleas of don't hurt me and things. It just I never get those people who play Grand Theft Auto really, really violently and just mow down people, especially the modern ones where it's just like real people, and it's just what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this?
Especially GTA 5, they got cats and dogs in it as
well.
Oh
yeah, exactly. It's just awful, isn't it? I mean, but people do, don't they?
I know.
I suppose they can just say that it's not real, but it's just it's not for me. No.
But yeah, it's a really great game. If I had a criticism to level it, and in fact I played through Infamous 2, Infamous Festival of Blood, which was like a Halloween DLC spin-off game, and Infamous Second Son on PS4.
Was that all this month?
That was all this month, yeah.
Blimey.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played through all of those. My only criticism, and it levels across all the games, is I would have liked some of the moral decisions to be a little bit more vague and a bit more subtle. So it's not like some of them is there's a city in lockdown and a food aid package gets dropped down and it gets stuck high up on a big tall statue, so you have to climb up and get it. And when the food drops down to the bottom, all these hungry people rush up to get it, and your character thinks to himself, he goes like, I could just take what I need, or I could electrocute everyone and just keep the food for myself. And it's
that's a tricky one, isn't it?
That's a tricky moral choice, isn't it?
How do you pass that? I mean,
I really what to do? So I would have liked it if there was a little bit more nuance to some of the choices.
A little bit, yes.
But yeah, they're really good games. And have I talked about Biomutant? Did I talk about Biomutant before?
No, I remember seeing you tweet about it, but I don't think you mentioned it in the last episode. I think that was after that. Yeah.
That was after that. I'll leave that to another time then, because I'm conscious that we're going on a bit. But yeah, so I've packed in quite a lot. So that's all the Infamous games bar one, all of Sonic Origins, and a good chunk of TMNT.
Well, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
well done.
It makes a nice change for me. Usually going, no, I've not really played much this month.
Yeah, that's me, I'm afraid, most months. But yeah, as long as you can sort of back it up with some actual content, that's great.
Yeah.
So let's skip on ahead to the news, shall we? News.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What news have you got?
Well, I thought we should probably start talking about Sonic Frontier, shouldn't we?
Oh, okay.
Unless you wanted to talk about something else first.
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, it's coming back, isn't it?
Coming back,
yeah. Podemup Book Club veteran of sorts. Yeah, it's, do we know what it is? Is it just a remake? Is it a
no
sequel?
idea.
We don't know.
But it's coming back.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I imagine it's just going to be like a remaster, but I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Especially if it sells. If it really sells this time.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. Yeah, I think it came runner-up last year. I think, didn't it, in our Podemup Awards, and it was very well deserved. Yeah, so it needs more people to play it because it is it's a lot better than perhaps you might think it might be.
Yeah.
Looking at it, so yeah.
So
really good game.
Whenever we get more information about it, we'll let you know. But buy it.
Yeah, buy it. Do buy it.
But yeah, Sonic Frontiers.
Okay, so the next big Sonic game, open zone Sonic game, they're calling it. Why don't you go first?
I'm a bit more cynical about this one than I was about Sonic Origins.
Yeah.
I could see a lot good in Sonic Origins. Sonic Frontiers, I can't say I'm really excited about it at all, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on with Sega. I really don't know what they're thinking. But the way it's been unveiled has been terrible.
Yeah, I don't think they've done it any favors by doing it the way they have now. No.
It looks like an Unreal Tech demo. It looks like something someone's knocked up in Unreal Engine. It's like and they've just stuck a Sonic character in a test world for Unreal Engine. Some of the animations I was watching, I can't remember who it was. He was going through his thoughts on it, and he highlighted that some of the animations, it's like 2 frames of animation for when he's attacking the badniks. But they're not even badniks; they're just
they're the sort of the resident robots of the island.
Robots.
But they, yeah.
I don't want to dislike things. But I just can't.
I understand all of that because I think it's from this sort of these previews right to the end. I think it's going to be a game that divides people. I think it's going to be a game that just people are going to either say that's really interesting or that's not for me. I have reservations about it. There are things I don't like, certainly, but generally I'm leaning on the side of being interested in it. Just the idea of sort of an open world Sonic game where you can just run around freely, and it looks like they're going to cram quite a lot of content in there, things to find in that world, sort of speed-based challenges, more puzzles, combat, and then sounds like it's quite, you can choose which of those you want to favour more. So the number of things you have to do is far less than the number of things there are to do. So if you don't like the combat, you don't necessarily have to do it, and you can focus. You just got quite a variety of choices. So I quite like that, and I quite like just running around freely. I think those bits where they showed that off in the trailer, where he's like racing that eagle, look really cool. And I think I'm quite excited about it, actually. To be fair, I think they haven't. Yeah, you're right. They haven't shown it in the best light, but when you read the previews, there's a mixture. Some people don't like it, and some people say it plays much better than it looks when you actually get it, and you can sort of explore it. And I'm hoping I'll feel the same when I see it. And it is only a small portion of the game. Obviously, there's going to be much more to it. There's going to be more variety.
I just think when you're showing off a game, though, because I went back and looked at the reveal trailer for Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Just as like a compare and contrast for my own, just for my own curiosity, really. And it's so different,
What was that? Was that the one where he jumps out of the sewer?
Yeah.
In like the city.
Yeah.
Thing. That's all I remember of that. I don't know if they showed more of that.
Just it shows you so many things going on in the levels, what to expect from the gameplay. You watch that trailer and not knowing anything about Mario Odyssey, and at the end of it, you've got a pretty good feel about what you're going to get.
Yeah.
with this one, if you're revealing your game and it's your flagship game of your flagship character, and it's, you know, it's what represents Sega. It's what people think of when they think of Sega. They think Sonic.
Mm.
You've got to bring your A game with it. And what do we get? A puzzle where you knock a statue round for 2 places and then a door opens. A bloody sliding block puzzle. No, is it No, it's not. You jump on
It's
the
like a
squares.
panel thing.
Oh my word! I can't think of anything I'd like to play less in a game than a block puzzle like that. I hate them. I hate them. And Sega know I hate them.
Do they? You told
Yeah,
them?
I've many times. I've been
You sent
told to stop
emails about
writing
it?
to them. You know, I got a restraining order from Yuji
Yeah.
Naka because of my distaste for sliding block puzzles. But
I don't know why you sent it to him. He hasn't worked there for about 15 years.
I know, well, I know, but he knows people, doesn't he? He can pass on the messages for me. He's still got
Yeah.
mates there.
Mm.
But no, I mean, I'm being glib, but I want to like it. But even you tweeted Green Hill Zone again.
Oh yeah, well this is the thing that's really annoying me. And I, before that became apparent, I was going to say, well, at least it's not Green Hill and Chemical Planet again. As long as that's the case, it's got to be better than Sonic Forces. But there's somehow found a way to cram them in again,
I know,
and I
and
just
I get
don't
the
understand
feeling,
why. This is the 4th game that we've had Green Hill and Chemical Planet together in there.
yeah, and I get the feeling they're going to be like the special stages, aren't they? That's the
So they're
impression I get.
they're sort of special stages, but in as much as they play like normal Sonic levels in a normal linear game, and there's something to do with Sonic's memories or something to do with the plot reason why he has to go back to these same old things. Okay, if it's got to be about Sonic's memories, why not just do some levels that you haven't already given us a million times already, like a 3D Hydra City zone or a 3D Flying Battery zone or something like that. That would be really cool. Okay, it would be old levels again, but at least be something that we haven't seen already. And it feels like really lazy, literally taking the assets and saying, okay, let's chuck this in. I wouldn't be surprised to see all the levels from Sonic Generations in there, just their assets just floating around in that cyberspace, and that's it. And that does really, really annoy me.
Yeah, because it's just so wasteful. You've got such a rich history of levels and things to choose from.
It's like a crutch, like they can't seem to get rid of. Like they feel like they have to do it. Like this is like a shortcut to make all Sonic fans love this game. Just putting these exact same levels in over and over again. And it makes me so cross. But at least they are more of a special stage thing. They aren't the core thing, and the core thing is more original. But yeah, I'm leaning generally. I'm leaning more on the positive side, in as much as I think it could play in an interesting way. Could be something I enjoy. I don't know, but we'll have to see.
It's a personal thing. It's just a personal dislike for me.
I think, and I totally respect that. And it is going to come down to whether you like this sort of gameplay or not. I think.
One thing again, it is purely a subjective thing, but it started with Sonic Adventure 2. Where, for some reason, Sega have decided that the badniks should just be generic robots. I want them to be silly little animals.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that I love like a good old classic badnik idea.
You don't want just plain generic robots, big grey robots. One of them looks like a bloody cybernetic raspberry or something. I don't want a cybernetic raspberry.
But it's not. It's just not going to be that type of game.
No.
You can tell that just by looking at it. And it varies every time you get a Sonic game, because one time you'll get Sonic Lost World, which that has that look about it, and all the badniks look amazing. I was playing that the other day, and I really loved how they do badniks in there, because they're almost like quite cuddly versions of them in a way, and they look amazing, and their sort of placement in the levels, like they take certain badniks from the Mushroom Hill zone and like apply them to this other level, and they work really well there. But you just get different things every time, don't you? If you get a more serious game with other things to fight that aren't Eggman robots, then you're going to get stuff like this, and you just have to kind of wait till the next one and see if it's more for you, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think maybe Sonic Origins had an influence on this, because influence on my opinion on it, because one thing I came away from Sonic Origins really liking was we mentioned the animations, the new animations that sort of link the stories together, that link the games together. I really love the characterization of Eggman in that.
Yeah.
I really like Eggman as being kind of just like almost a friendly rival to Sonic, and more sort of mischievous than outright evil.
Yeah.
He's just kind of bumbling and, not really all that menacing.
Doesn't
And
seem
Sonic,
like a real threat. Yeah.
yeah, I like that. I really like that kind of dynamic that comes across in the
Yeah, it's like, oh god, here he is again. Come on, then,
yeah,
let's just
and like the
let's sort
Sonic
him out
Mania
again.
adventure things.
Yeah.
I love that. I would much rather that than have Eggman be the kind of serious Sonic 06 evil. Oh,
Yeah.
and all I think I just prefer that interpretation of Sonic than this ultra realism, hyper real grey robot thing. I just don't think it's for me. I'll still play it when it comes out. I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
But I think I just prefer, I think I'm just old, and I like the old Badniks and old plump Eggman.
Yeah, I do as well, but I also quite like a bit of variety.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that again. We didn't have much of it last decade. They were mainly just leaning on these old zones, and they're still doing it. But at least the core of the game is a bold take. They are being bold with it. They are trying something new.
Yeah.
And I think
to their credit. Yeah.
to their credit, and I think they want to make a good game. I think they there's evidence to show that they've been testing this out on people and getting their feedback and tweaking things. Apparently, supposedly Sonic controls quite well, and also you can adjust how he controls, at least in the demo that people have played. Like, there's lots of sliders where you can control his acceleration and things like that. It's almost like, okay, they're saying, okay, we kind of give up in trying to settle on a physics engine for Sonic. You just tweak him how you want him, and yeah, fair enough. To be honest, at least if that makes a smoother experience, then yeah, fair enough. Who cares?
Yeah.
Go for it. So I'm hoping that will just ultimately lead to a decent game that's been well thought about. Because I think they have been working on this for quite a long time.
It has been a long time.
Since Sonic Forces, I think, which has been about 5 years. So
and it's meant to be out by Christmas, isn't it?
By Christmas, yeah. So I've got my fingers crossed. I got everything crossed that I'll enjoy. I know lots of people won't enjoy it regardless. I think it will get some bad reviews and some good reviews, hopefully. But I'm just thinking about myself right now. I'm hoping that I'll come away enjoying it a bit.
I'm sure there'll be fun to be had with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say I even had fun with Sonic 06 at times, but I can't honestly say that I did.
I can, but
But
I was in denial at the time, but yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I got to imagine, based purely on what they've shown so far and the fact that it's meant to be out at Christmas, there's a lot that they're not showing.
Yes, definitely.
I think there's a lot more.
I mean,
maybe they just want to keep it under wraps and not spoil things.
Well, I hope so. That's what I hope so. I always prefer it if they lean towards that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's based on the game is based in a place called the Starfall Islands, which suggests there's multiple islands, and what we're seeing is just one of those, and there's other ones that may be like a desert one and things like that. So there's potentially lots to go in there. Apparently, it's going to be a 30-hour game they're shooting for, which is very, very long for a Sonic game. Perhaps a bit too long even, but there's got to be some content in there.
Here's my prediction.
Yeah.
One of the other islands will be covered in green hills, right?
Yeah.
One of the other islands is going to have a big chemical plant on
Oh
it.
God, don't say that, please don't.
Right? One of the other islands is going to be some kind of sky sanctuary.
Some kind of sky sanctuary, yeah.
But no. It'd be interesting to see how it pans out. I think, yeah.
All right. Well,
it'll be good.
Yeah. So this past month was E3, but not E3, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
It was kind of like some people showed off some things, and some people didn't. I was hoping to see more from Nintendo, but not yet. Anyway, did you see anything else that caught your eye this month that came out that was announced?
I don't think so.
The only thing I saw that I liked was a game. I think Sony showed it off, but I think it's for everything. It's called the Plucky Squire. Did you see this?
No, I did not see this.
It's a really cool looking game. It's set in like a children's book initially, so it's all 2D hand drawn stuff, and it's like these little knights, and it's got these. That alone looks nice, but at the end of the trailer, the character jumps out of the book and into like the kids' like desk in their room, and it becomes a bit more of like a Chibi Robo kind of thing at that point. Just changed the style completely, and it looked like really high quality stuff as well. And it just looked really cool. A really nice little character.
Yeah.
Look it up when you get a chance. The Plucky Squire. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Devolver Digital, they usually do really good stuff. So.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Devolver. Yes, I remember that now.
Yeah, great. Oh, I'll watch that later.
Yeah, have a watch because it's I watched it all the way to the end as well because
I'm only looking at screenshots, but it's giving me Scribblenauts vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
That's literally the only thing I've seen that I think there's been quite a few things announced, but I didn't either see them or didn't care about them. So that's my E3 report this month.
Yeah, there was some new Call of Duty thing.
Probably. Yeah, not interested in that.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what I did get.
Yeah.
I did the PlayStation Plus Premium thing.
Oh yeah.
Because when they launched it, it says if you upgrade, they'll do it at a pro rata rate. And right. I pay month by month, so I could upgrade. I think they charged me like £2.50 to upgrade for the remaining of the month. Yeah. So I thought, I'll do that. Let's see if it's worth it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. No. It didn't sound worth it. Have they got any other games other than what we talked about last month? Is the library increased at all? Is it like what's?
I don't think the classic library's increased, but there's no easy way to. It's not like set up easy so you can look just for PS1 games, just for PS2 games, just for PS3 games. They're all just sort of bundled together in a big list, which is not really great.
No.
I tried Tekken 2. I thought the FMV was a bit choppy.
I've heard that they're the PAL 50 Hz versions. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which is a weird decision.
It's a weird decision. Apparently, you're gonna have a choice. I think going forward, with the next update of it, you're going to be able to select what region you want to play.
Yeah.
But I mean, even that, for the money they're charging, I don't. If you like, I gave one of the cloud streaming ones a go. I can't remember what game it was. It worked, as well as cloud streaming does.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that's something that interests you, it's it might be worth looking into it for that. But I was a bit underwhelmed considering. If I was paying, like I say, I paid £2.50 for it, but I think if you were paying for it monthly, it's like £14 a month. I don't think it's worth that personally.
No.
But your mileage may vary.
Yeah. See what else they add to it, I suppose.
Yeah.
There's options there. It's there, isn't it? If you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we crack on with House of the Dead, I've got one quick incoming indie.
Oh.
Incoming indie.
It's a demo that I've been playing and actually got really into. It's called Victory Heat Rally. I think it's only coming out on Steam at the moment, but it's out later this year. It's a racing game similar to Sega's arcade game Power Drift.
Cool.
That sort of sprite scaling thing where it kind of rotates a bit as you turn the corners. It's kind of like that. A bit more of a sort of a nice sort of kiddie. I don't want to say kiddie derogatively, but a bit more kiddie. I don't know, but it's not nice, colourful characters and things like that, like very, very nicely presented, and just loads of fun. Like the thrill of the speed going round is really cool. As I've said before, like a good racing game will in terms of the AI characters, will always keep you in with them. If you're going too far ahead or too far behind, then it's not great fun. But playing all the levels in this demo, it was like that. It's quite difficult to get to the front, but really rewarding and made you want to keep doing it. And sort of quite a variety of different sort of ways of racing and challenges and things like that. So it was just something that I gave it a go because I was following them on Twitter for a while and I've been watching them develop, and it went from. It's been interesting to see the progress of how they've built this kind of engine, and it's ended up looking really, really nicely presented. I gave it a go and had a great time. So it's definitely one.
Really good. Yeah.
Definitely one to look at. I think it's being published by Platonic Games, who do Ukulele.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on it.
Hopefully. Victory Heat Rally announced for Switch. So yeah.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even see that. Oh, that's good. That'd be perfect on Switch. Be really, really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of people we follow on Twitter,
Okay.
Sega Powered magazine.
Oh yeah.
Dreamcast demo coming out.
Oh, lovely. I know. I saw that.
Great.
Brilliant. Yeah. They put just like some indie Dreamcast games bundled on a disc.
A proper cover disc.
Yeah. That's so cool, isn't it? I mean,
I
when
love
was the
it.
last time you saw any cover disc on any magazine?
Exactly.
Let alone like a sort of a more amateur, in the nicest possible way, magazine. So that's great to see.
I hope it sells a bucket load, and I hope it starts a trend, and we see more indie demo discs. Oh, I'd love that. That's so good.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a CDR and everything, and you need because you can just stick a CDR into any Dreamcast, can't you?
Except for the very later models, the very last models, they took out the mil CD function, what they used to exploit and get CDs to boot. Yeah. But there aren't many of those knocking about, so the chances are, if 9 out of 10 Dreamcasts will be able to boot it, no problem.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about other consoles as well. That's a little bit more tricky, isn't it?
A little bit trickier when it comes to other consoles, yeah.
But I mean, the scene on the Dreamcast is always thriving, isn't it? There's always people making loads for it. So it'd be great to see that. You could even make a regular Dreamcast magazine just out of that stuff and like put a disc on it every month. I know it's obviously cost a bomb, but if there were enough like backers for it and things, it's feasible.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so we've prattled on for long enough, I think. Should we get to the good old gore and mindless violence of House of the Dead Overkill?
House of the Dead.
Overkill.
That's a really good impression, yeah.
That's quite good, isn't it? That voice sounds really like that particular voice sounds. I think he did like commercials and things.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't recognize
it. Sounded really. I mean, it's kind of like that standard movie, deep voice, isn't it? But that particular one sounded very similar. Anyway, let's have a break and then we'll get right on with it.
Cool.
All those of a nervous disposition must look away now. In the town of Bayou City, an ancient evil lurks, an unknown, malevolent legacy. A twisted tale of deceit, revenge, and bodily fluid. A hard-boiled cop, a deadly government agent, and 10,000 mutants. They've come for brains. You'll give them bullets. The House of the Dead, Overkill. Black magic. Violence. The hardcore you've been waiting for. The House of the Dead, Overkill. Where the dead walk and bullets talk. So frightening, you'll cry blood from your own eyes. The House of the Dead, Overkill. Enjoy a bite at Papa Caesar's drive-thru, just 500 meters from this auditorium on the left.
The Video Game Book Club.
House of the Dead Overkill is our game this month that we're talking about, and again, this is a bit like Lollipop Chainsaw last year. This is a bit of an adults-only thing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
So if you got kids around, we'll any swears that happen to come in, we'll bleep them out, obviously, and but generally the content would be something you probably don't want little kids to hear. So if you got them running,
not want to be playing with Alice.
No, definitely not. I made sure she was well tucked into bed whenever I set this one up, definitely. So it's developed by Headstrong Games and published by Sega. Released for the Nintendo Wii in February 2009 for US and Europe, and September for Japan. So later, an extended cut was released for PS3 in 2011, and the typing of the Dead Overkill was released in 2013 for Windows. The Wii version is cheap to pick up. Bought mine for about £6, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a light gun style zombie rail shooter, as any House of the Dead game would be, in which you simply point the Wii remote at the zombies and fire away, and it works really well doing so.
Let me just interject here briefly.
Yeah.
I bought way back they released the AMC hand cannon, and it's just like a really chunky gun shaped thing that you stick the remote in, and it's meant to be modelled after the gun that they use in the game.
Yeah.
I loved it when I played it last time with it. Got the gun out this time, and they've put that rubberized stuff around the handle, around the grip to make it nice and soft. And just like every of that rubberized stuff in the world, it's gone all sticky and gross.
Oh yeah, one of my nunchucks, I found that. Got it out recently, and the thumbstick is all gone a bit sticky. Gross, isn't it?
It's gross. So I don't know what to do about it either. I don't know. I know.
No, how can you fix that?
I know you can remove it, but I mean that's part of the aesthetics of the gun, isn't it?
I must admit that sounds really good because I was using the Wii Zapper, which didn't feel right for this game because you want like a handgun, don't you? You want like a proper thing. But I mean, it's probably better than just pointing the Wii remote at it. But yeah, it sounds quite good actually.
Yeah, it's really good as long as you don't mind feeling like you've been gripping flypaper for an hour afterwards.
You won't be able to get it off when you finish. So this is a non-canonical prequel to the original House of the Dead game that sees Agent G team up with foul-mouthed detective Isaac Washington to track down crime villain Papa Caesar, who's involved in the appearance of mutants and sort of general bad stuff, basically.
Yeah.
There's a bit more of a plot than I was expecting to this, actually. It's a pretty regular kind of thing. One of the first things you see when you boot the disc up, though, is real footage of a pole dancer who eventually draws out a Wii remote and points it at you. And that kind of sets the tone for the whole game, really. I'm amazed that Nintendo allowed that, by the way.
I know.
How did that get past? Did they just skip the intro, not even see it when they had a quick look at it? That seems a very un-Nintendo thing to allow their Wii remote to be used in quite a sexual way. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. But it's got a very striking aesthetic, isn't it? The whole game.
It has, yeah. It's so nice. It's obviously going for the whole grindhouse,
very sort of B-movie
style
kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I need to say what made you pick it, but I don't know. It's just a good game, isn't it?
I just find, yeah, it's just a good game. It's funny. I think we mentioned House of the Dead a couple of times in relation to the remake that was coming up, the remaster. And to me, I think I always felt like this was a kind of an entry in the series that wasn't really appreciated.
You don't hear it talked about very much, do you? Really?
You don't hear it talked about, and after this came, they had House of the Dead 4, which went basically back to the usual House of the Dead style, and every House of the Dead thing since then has gone back to the original style, and this kind of just stands on its own. And it's not really been...
It's completely separate, really, isn't it? It's got a completely different feel. Because all the other ones that I've played, anyway, they're almost... They're charmingly bad in like the dialogue and things, and it's just... but this actually pays a lot of care to the dialogue and making it entertaining and well-voiced and everything. Really, really funny as well.
Yeah,
far funnier
really
than
funny.
a House of the Dead normally is. I mean, if you talk that Isaac Washington is such a great character. Yeah. He's kind of like he says he drops an F-bomb almost every sentence. Basically, that's the main thing you need to know about him. I did read on Wikipedia that for briefly it was had the Guinness record for the most amount of cursing in a video game. It was only beaten by Mafia 3 the following year, apparently, which I've never played, but I can imagine there's probably a fair bit of cursing in that as well. But this, it literally is all the time, like effing and jeffing, isn't it? It's weird that for a video game, it's very jarring because normally you don't. I mean, you do in like really adult games, but this much of it,
Yeah, and it's such gratuitous manner.
Yeah, I know.
It's like we said when we mentioned it in the last show when we talked about it. One of the first sentences in the game is "mess with him and he'll rip your balls off," and then it's got him. He goes, "I'm gonna rip your motherfucking balls off." It's so over the top. I love it.
I know.
I love it.
Another thing I liked is the dynamic between Agent G and Washington was really good as well. I thought because Agent G is quite sort of a straight-laced kind of cop, likes to do things properly, and then Washington's just a bit of bit nuts, basically, isn't he? He just wants to... He's very unorthodox, I would say.
Yes.
Just wants to shoot everything and ask questions later, And it's just that dynamic. It sounds quite... When you describe it like that, it sounds quite cliched, but there's just something about their particular nature of their relationship, because they've kind of been thrown together. They don't really want to be working together. And I found that really entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, cliche is kind of the order of the day now. I mean,
to be fair, yeah.
Everything about the game is cliche, but in a really good way, in a really well thought out way.
It's not shy about it being cliched. It kind of takes that and runs with it, and it uses it as a strength, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like every stage, basically, it takes a form of like a movie, like an old B movie. So, like the first one is Papa's Palace of Pain. And then they've got, one at a carnival, like the fetid waters, and they've got like all these different ones.
Yeah, they set each one up almost like a trailer for things like this voiceover.
Yeah.
I can't off the top of my head think of anything it actually says, but it's like, I was thinking how I describe this game, and it is quite difficult for me to describe because I don't really have like the filmic vocabulary that is needed to perhaps appreciate exactly what's going on here. I don't know if you've got any more insight.
So this is I'm literally just looking at this up as we're talking. The second level is ballistic trauma. And so, like we said, every level in the game is set up like a movie. So you get a film trailer introducing what's happening in that level while you're there and what's going on. So the introductory narration for Ballistic Trauma is: tonight you have been admitted to Bayou County General. Your symptoms: cold sweats, irregular heartbeat, anxiety. The diagnosis: bleeding horror that cuts like a scalpel to the heart. There's only one cure: a white-hot bullet to the brain. Ballistic trauma. Collect your point-blank prescription. And the whole game's like, every level's like that.
The whole game is like that, yeah. And he's like constantly doing it in like cutscenes as well. And he's like just like describing the characters when they appear. You feel like you're watching like a cheap movie while
it's
while it's playing.
Yeah, proper like old B movie style, Quentin Tarantino grindhouse thing. It's just pitch perfect.
Yeah, it's just really well thought out that way, isn't it? Like, they don't just like do it a bit and like make it look vaguely like that. They really go all out to give you that experience, don't they?
Yeah,
it's very impressive.
Yeah, because I mean, a common criticism of the original House of the Dead games is the voice acting and how corny the plot and everything is.
Yeah.
And it's like they've sat down and looked at that and really worked it into a strength of the series rather than,
they've made fun of it
be all
themselves.
Serious about it. They've said, look, it's ridiculous. Let's just really play into it.
Yeah.
And it works. It works so well.
I don't understand how they didn't just carry on with that for any remaining House of the Dead games.
Exactly.
And just really run with it because it works so well for the formula, doesn't it?
It does. Exactly that. I don't know why they didn't continue with it. Well, I mean, I think a lot of the humour it might be a bit edgy for.
Well, it limits your audience. To be fair, it does. Yeah. If you're going at that hard, I mean, they could cut back on the swearing, I suppose, and things like that. But at the end of the day, you're shooting up zombies, so you're only going to be one particular type of person, aren't you? It's not going to be for everyone in the first place, is it?
No. A little bit of interesting trivia I did find. I wonder if you found this as well. Let me just get it back. But basically, the first boss, in the first stage, there's a bit where they open a door and a head comes rolling down the stairs.
Yeah.
That is the head of the level designer in the game.
Brilliant.
The first boss is a wheelchair-bound character called Jasper.
Yeah.
He is based on Harry Potter.
Because, he does look a bit Harry Potter-ish, doesn't he?
Yeah, the guy who designed him and did that bit of the game used to work for EA on Harry Potter games and developed a hatred of Harry Potter. And the final
Fantastic.
form of the boss, where he sort of floats in the air with his big dangly arms,
Yeah.
was inspired by Vic and Bob's MasterChef sketch.
Oh yeah, I know the one. That's brilliant, isn't it? That's quite a
Yeah.
deep cut. That is.
Yeah, it
Oh,
really is, isn't it?
yeah, it is very like that actually, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Okay,
Yeah.
that's some great insight. Well done.
Yeah.
Where did you find that? Out of interest?
I found that on the House of the Dead fandom wiki. So if you go on
Nice.
the House of
Okay.
the Dead.fandom.com and then just navigate down to the section on House of the Dead Overkill, there's loads of little insights like that and interview snippets and things.
Oh,
So
fantastic. Yeah.
well worth
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah, I suppose we should talk about the gameplay a bit. I mean,
I suppose so.
I mean, there's not a lot to it really
No.
in terms of discussion. It's one of those games. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. Really, you just go around shooting zombies. There's not a huge variety of them, I would say. You tend to get the same. Oh, there's a nurse zombie. There's a big fat one. There's the policeman later on, and it kind of just cycles through them. But a bit like a good beat 'em up, it doesn't ever really get tiring. Not really anyway.
No.
I mean, I was playing it in relatively small doses. I was usually just playing one level at a time, I think.
Yeah.
And that I found was perfect. I think perhaps if I sat down and played the whole thing, I might get a bit fed up with that after a little while. But it's done pretty well as you would want to. They sort of pop up, you shoot them. They're quite difficult to shoot sometimes. You got to keep reloading quite a lot. So that getting that timing is crucial. But it's the difficulty wise, it's surprisingly lenient, I thought.
Yeah.
Because there isn't really a way to fail the game, really, is there? Because as long as you keep shooting at them, because the way it works is you get scores every time you kill the zombies, and score goes up. Every time you lose all your health, your score just gets halved, and that's it. You can just carry on. It just keeps halving every time. I don't know if there's a maximum amount of times you can die where it just kicks you out, and I thought that was really cool because I kind of just want to sit and have fun with it. But that it didn't feel like a sort of an infinite credit thing at the same time either, because if you're doing it for a score attack, then that is quite a punishing thing to have your score cut in half completely.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I thought that was a really good idea, actually. I think that worked really well for it.
It is. It's a really neat thing, and I'm surprised more arcade conversions and arcade home versions of arcade games rather than straight ports don't adopt that kind of thing, because it does give you that same feel as, you do feel like, oh no, there's a penalty for losing.
There is a penalty, but it's not that severe, really.
Yeah.
Not severe enough to stop you completely. To contrast it, I was playing the House of the Dead 2 and 3. I mentioned it last episode, that's the last time I played it. But that when you have a certain number of credits, and there was a point I got to where I just ran out of credits, and then I would have to start the game again.
Yeah.
Which is kind of frustrating, because I just want to sort of sit through and get through it. I mean, I would prefer just setting back a little way every time I died and just having to, like a normal Infinite Lives game, And then there's another one I played recently that's what's it called? It's two old Sega LA machine guns and something else. They're in like a double pack. And that they're sort of quite oldish games, but they're reasonably fun. But those are infinite credits, and at the same time that it makes it too easy almost. There's no penalty at all. You just keep going on until you get through the whole thing. And this, I think, just strikes that perfect middle ground where there is a penalty, but it's not that severe. And I think it worked really well.
Yeah, it does. It works really well. There's so many things it gets right, so many little things. I like the fact, I like the range of different weapons as well, that they do actually an impact on how you play the game. There's almost a strategy to what weapon you want to take into the level and what mods you want to get.
I did find that, you can buy weapons, you can also upgrade them, which is really cool. Like you can change the amount of time it takes to reload them, the number of bullets you've got. Which is quite cool. It just improved your gun, but you can also buy other ones like machine guns and shotguns and things. And there were occasions where you can bring two weapons in, actually, can't you? And then you can switch between them. And there was a particular boss where, in one instance, a machine gun worked well against this bit, but then I had to switch to the regular gun where it worked better. And that was cool for a light gun game. That's seems quite a good idea.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the times in light gun games, you'll either just stick with the one gun throughout, or occasionally you'll pick up like a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher or something that you'll use for 2 screens, and then you're back to normal with it's kind of, when you do get another weapon, it's kind of just like a bonus to make the next couple of screens easier rather than an integral part of the game. But I think with this one, there is, like I said, there's actually strategy to which gun would be most suited to this level kind of thing, and I really like that, rather than just being just a standard power up. It's natural, it serves a purpose. I think is really nice. Did you complete it?
I did, yeah. I did. We don't do spoilers in this game, and it applies to this game as well. But thankfully, you don't actually see what's happening, but the implication is enough to just, what on earth is going? Oh, horrible thought. Yeah, but anyway, we'll leave that one to you. It's worth it.
It's worth it. Oh yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, horrible. I like the boss. I like was Nigel and Sebastian.
Yes.
It's in the circus level, and he's like this really massive brute, and he picks up a dead zombie and starts eating him, and then the camera pans down, and you realise there's another sort of head attached to his stomach, and he looks up at Nigel. That's a big one. He says, "You fucking sicken me, Nigel." And I just thought that was so funny. It really tickled me. Oh, great!
It is. It's such a funny game, and there's so many. It got so many genuine laughs out of me throughout the play.
So just after that, Washington can't find G. He's not sure where he is, and then G pulls up in an ice cream van. So they're going to use that to go to the next place, and it's really slow. And the next shot, you just see Washington just having an ice cream, just sat next to him. And it was just the way it was done, just the way it cuts to that. It was great. I love that.
I love it. I want more. I wish they'd have done a House of Dead Overkill 2. I really don't know why, because it got an extended version on the PlayStation 3.
I had to look at that on YouTube, and it's got quite a sheen to it. I even looked up that scene, and they sort of vary it a bit. They vary like the camera angles and maybe a bit of the dialogue as well, possibly, and add more to it, and it seems like quite an enhanced version. Yeah,
there's a couple of extra chapters. It comes with a couple of 3D glasses in the case, so you can play it in 3D if you want.
Is it PlayStation Move compatible, or is it too early for that? Oh, it is. Oh, cool. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's well worth picking up. I've got that version, but I didn't play it for this one. I thought we'd better stick play the same one.
This seems a little bit different, so it makes sense to play the Wii version. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you've got access to a PlayStation Move, again, I don't think it's that expensive on PlayStation 3, and you do get a couple of extra chapters for it with
yes, you do, yeah.
Vala guns.
Yeah, it's also worth noting, once you complete it, you unlock I think a harder version that does limit your lives to some extent. I think I didn't actually try it, but that's what I've read. I think it's a little bit extended anyway. You get some extra stuff, but I think it's harder, and
it's mainly
you can't
harder.
Just So if you wanted that more challenge, I think it does potentially offer that as well. It's just, I'm trying to think of anything else to say about the gameplay, but it is literally, I mean, there's things, those 10 hidden brains in each level. That's quite a good challenge to pick up. I could never get all 10. Because you've got to be really quick. When you see one, you just got to quickly shoot at it.
Yeah, you've got to be pretty accurate.
The camera moves around so much that you just as easily just miss it completely, and then you move on. And there's the health packs and the slow motion thing just to slow everything down, and grenades and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I did like the bosses in general. They sort of varied it up a bit. Like the hospital one was particularly interesting, quite creepy actually. I don't know, it's a little bit unsettling, that one. It was just a really good, fun game. Didn't outstay its welcome. It's about 4 hours long, I think, on How Long to Beat. So it's good.
I mean, for my money, I think it's the perfection of the House of the Dead formula. Really, I mean, it's zombies. It plays up to the cheesiness and the corniness of the whole premise. It just has fun with it. Like you say, the mechanic where the score halves when you lose a life rather than having the normal credits, and just everything is just the peak of the series, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I did find out, actually, looking into this, that there's a whole bunch of other House of the Dead games that I never knew existed.
Oh, really?
Mainly arcade ones.
Yeah, there's. I think I caught a glimpse of that. There's various arcade-only House of the Dead that you don't even really hear about, do you? Yeah.
There's one about two zombies, a boyfriend and girlfriend zombie that are trying to escape. Loving Dead's The House of the Dead X.
I haven't even heard of that.
The game concerns a young zombie couple, Zobio and Zobika, who seek to escape from captivity. So there we go. That's another one that's out there. So I mean, and that came out after House of the Dead Overkill. So I mean, I don't know why this didn't become the standard. Play it, buy it, and have fun with it. 'Cause it's lovely.
It's cheap as chips. Everyone's got a Wii kicking around. Yeah, you could do far worse than this. Really good.
Yeah.
Next month, got a bit of a classic for you. Classic for me, anyway, and quite a well-known game.
Okay.
One of my favourite games of all time, Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been hankering to play it for ages. I've played it through twice before. Once in '98 when it came out, and another one in when the Xbox Live Arcade version came out. So I think about 2009. I've been meaning to play it again for ages, so I thought this would be a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a good game.
I've never played it all the way through. I've played bits and pieces of it, but it'd be interesting to actually sit down and give it a good old go.
Yeah, definitely. I would say there's 9 worlds in it. I would say, I mean, it's a fairly long game, but not
a chunky game, yeah.
Super long. I would say try and at least see 6 or 7 of the worlds if you can. Because then that'll just give you because it's a very varied game, and it's a nice. It'd be good to get like a wide sweep of it. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to next month. Banjo-Kazooie, one of my favourites. I'm keen to see, how it still holds up, after this length of time.
Is a lot of the game length based on collecting all the bits and pieces, though? Is
all
it
the jiggies and things? Yeah, completionist would. There's only about 100 jiggies, and the requirement to get to the end boss, I don't think, is much less than that.
Okay. But
I can't remember how many extra stuff there is. I think the bulk of it is the main game. Do you know what I mean? There isn't much extra stuff beyond that. But if you wanted to see it to completion, I'm going to be I'm actually going to be emulating the Xbox Live Arcade version in Xenia. So I'm going to either play the original or the Xbox version.
I'll play the XBLA one on Xbox.
On an Xbox, yeah. It's also on Xbox One. On that rare replay collection, if anyone's got that kicking around, if they want to play along with us. And yeah, they're pretty similar, the N64 and the Xbox version. The Xbox version obviously looks a bit nicer and runs a bit more smoothly, but largely the same game. So yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah, good choice.
Thank you very much. Cool. So if you want to talk to us, you can email us podemup@gmail.com. We're at podemup on Twitter, and podemup.live is our little website. I don't think I've got anything else to say, do you?
No, I don't think so.
No? Should we just let them go?
Yeah, we've had quite a packed episode.
We have. It's been a bit packed in, hasn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just let them stew on that for a bit, let it sink in, all our various views on things sink in, and you can join us next month for episode 45.
Yeah. We will see you then, and I hope you have a good month.
Good month. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Bayou County General, where the sick hits the fan. On the trail to uncover the perverse secrets of Papa Caesar's disgusting experiments, our heroes stumble into a nurse's nightmare. Can Agent G and Detective Washington cure this undead outbreak? Symptoms include terror, fever, and a taste for flesh. Diagnosis: slaughter. The treatment: shotguns. The House of the Dead. Overkill. The hardcore you've been waiting for.